In the heart of the American Midwest, nestled among the rolling hills of northeastern Oklahoma, there once existed a town with a history as haunting as the whispering winds that swept through its abandoned streets. This was Pitcher, a place that time and tragedy had forgotten. Pitcher was born in the early 20th century, its birthright a bounty of lead and zinc buried beneath the earth. The mines that riddled the region birthed prosperity and hope, attracting miners and families from far and wide. As the years passed, Pitcher thrived, transforming into a bustling community with schools, churches, and a vibrant downtown. But beneath the surface prosperity lurked a deadly secret. The very mines that had brought wealth to Pitcher were slowly poisoning the land and its people. The tailings from mining operations, left unchecked, began to contaminate the town's water and soil. The underground tunnels that had once been a lifeline became a silent, creeping menace. As time wore on, Pitcher's residents began to notice the sinister consequences of their town's prosperity. Sinkholes appeared with alarming frequency, swallowing houses and streets. The ground itself seemed to crumble beneath their feet, as if nature herself was rebelling against the ravages of industry. And then came the day that the people of Pitcher could no longer ignore the grim reality. Their town was dying, and it was time to leave. Relocation orders were issued, and one by one, the residents of Pitcher packed their belongings and said their goodbyes to a town that had once been their home. The exodus was painful, leaving behind empty houses, boarded-up storefronts, and a profound sense of loss. In the years that followed, Pitcher became a ghost town, a spectral remnant of its former self. The remnants of the once thriving community now stood as eerie, crumbling structures, a testament to the impermanence of human endeavors. The streets were silent, the schools empty, and the churches devoid of congregations. Yet, even in its desolation, Pitcher remained a place of strange beauty. Nature had begun to reclaim the land, softening the scars of mining and sinkholes. Wild flowers sprouted from the cracks in the pavement, and birdsong filled the air once thick with industrial dust. Visitors who ventured to Pitcher found themselves in a world frozen in time, a haunting reminder of the price humanity sometimes pays for progress. They explored the abandoned buildings and whispered stories of the past, wondering about the lives that had once flourished here. Pitcher, Oklahoma, became a place of paradox, a ghost town both tragic and beautiful, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a community that had faced adversity with courage and resilience. Its story served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most prosperous towns can be undone by the very riches they harbor beneath the surface. And so Pitcher, with its haunting beauty and poignant history, stood as a silent guardian of the past, a place where the echoes of its once vibrant community could still be heard on the whispering winds that swept through its abandoned streets. Hidden deep within the sprawling Oklahoma countryside, nestled amidst fields of waving wheat and rolling hills, stood an ancient and mysterious bed-and inn. This remote establishment was known by few and frequented by even fewer, or it held a reputation as one of the most haunted places in the entire state. The building itself was a masterpiece of architectural craftsmanship, and a grand front porch that seemed to beckon guests to its shadowy embrace. Over the years, the inn had collected tales of unexplained phenomena and ghostly encounters that had sent shivers down the spines of all who had ventured within. The story of the haunted bed and inn began in the late 19th century, when it was first constructed by a wealthy oil baron named Reginald Blackwood. Blackwood spared no expense in its construction, creating a lavish retreat for himself and his family. However, tragedy struck when his beloved wife, Eleanor, perished during childbirth in one of the mansion's opulent rooms. It was said that her anguished spirit never left the inn, forever wandering its hallways in search of the child she had lost. Over the decades, the bed and inn changed hands, and each owner faced the chilling specters that call the mansion home. Guests who dared to stay the night reported eerie occurrences, whispers in the dead of the night, the sound of the child's laughter echoing through empty corridors, and the sensations of icy fingers brushing against their skin. The innkeepers themselves claimed to have seen the ghostly figure of Eleanor, a sorrowful woman dressed in a flowing white gown, roaming the grounds and gazing out the window of the room where she had met her tragic end. Despite the ominous reputation of the inn, it remained open to those who sought adventure and intrigue. Paranormal investigators came from near and far, armed with cameras, recorders, and their unwavering curiosity. They documented strange phenomena, capturing inexplicable shadows, disembodied voices, and even the occasional glimpse of Eleanor's spectral figure. One particular guest, Sarah, was drawn to the inn by tales of its haunting. A skeptic at heart, she scoffed at the stories of ghostly apparitions. However, as she settled into her room for the night, she soon realized that this was no ordinary place. The air grew thick with an otherworldly presence, and a mournful melody played on an invisible piano drifted through the chamber. In the darkness, Sarah felt a chill wash over her, and she turned to see a figure, a woman in a white gown, standing by the window. It was Eleanor, her eyes filled with sadness. She extended a pale, ethereal hand toward Sarah, as if beckoning her to understand the depth of her sorrow. In that moment, Sarah knew she had encountered something beyond explanation. She left the inn the next morning, forever changed by her experience, a true believer in the haunted legends that surrounded the bed and inn. The haunted bed and inn in Oklahoma continued to stand as a testament to the mysteries of the afterlife, a place where the echoes of the past lingered in the present, and where the curious, the brave, and the skeptical alike could come face to face with the unexplained, in the shadows of a mansion that held its spectral secrets close. In the heart of rural Oklahoma, shrouded in the mist of time and mystery, stood the crumbling remnants of what was once the Northern Haven Asylum. This eerie and foreboding structure had long been abandoned, its dark history and ghostly reputation casting a long shadow over the surrounding landscape. Northern Haven Asylum had been built in the late 19th century, originally intended as a place of refuge and healing for those suffering from mental illnesses. The sprawling red brick building with its imposing facade was meant to provide solace and care for the troubled souls of the era. However, as the decades rolled on, the asylum earned a sinister reputation. Stories of mistreatment, neglect, and even unethical experiments began to circulate among the locals. Whispers of the tormented cries of patients in the dead of night were said to haunt the nearby town, and some claimed that the asylum had become a breeding ground for suffering and despair. Chilling tales was that of a brilliant but disturbed patient named Eliza. She had been committed to Northern Haven after a series of violent outbursts and incomprehensible ramblings. Eliza's room, located in the asylum's west wing, became a place of dread for both staff and other patients. It was said that strange occurrences would happen there, unexplained by science or reason. Lights flickered, furniture moved of its own accord, and chilling whispers echoed in the darkness. One particularly stormy night, as thunder rumbled and lightning illuminated the asylum's bleak silhouette, a young nurse named Sarah found herself assigned to the west wing. Despite the unsettling stories that circulated about Eliza's room, Sarah was determined to prove her bravery. Within a lantern in her hand, she cautiously entered the dimly lit room. The air felt heavy, and the atmosphere was charged with an otherworldly presence. As she stepped further into the room, the lantern's flame flickered and danced as if responding to an unseen presence. Suddenly, a mournful wail echoed through the room, and Sarah's heart raced. She turned to see a spectral figure materialize before her, the ghostly form of Eliza herself, her eyes filled with torment and sorrow. She reached out with translucent hands, and Sarah felt an icy grip on her wrist. Eliza's voice, choked with anguish, whispered in Sarah's ear, "Help me." Terrified yet compelled to assist, Sarah began researching the asylum's history, uncovering the depth of its darkness. She learned that Eliza had been wrongly committed and subjected to cruel experiments, which had driven her to madness. Determined to set things right, Sarah gathered evidence of the asylum's atrocities and contacted local authorities. The long-abandoned building was investigated, and the truth about its dark past finally came to light. The horrors of Northern Haven Asylum were exposed, and the spirits of those who had suffered there were finally granted the peace they had been long denied. The asylum itself was left to decay, a grim reminder of the darkness that once dwelled within its wall. But for Sarah, it became a symbol of her bravery and determination to confront the supernatural and seek justice for the tormented souls who had once resided there. To this day, the Northern Haven Asylum remains a place of chilling tales and ghostly legends, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to confront even the most sinister of hauntings and uncover the truth hidden in the shadows.